Yo, what's up, guys? How are you? Thank you for joining me this afternoon. This is your boy, John Colder Ice Lawson. And look, here's the deal this is the pre show, right? This is pre launch, the pre show, the John Lawson experience. And the cool thing is, I've been doing a little bit of experimental stuff, also been doing a lot of personal development up here. I mean, if you can't do anything, if if there's if the world is going out of control, the one thing you can start taking control over is the things that you focus in on. That's the one area. Hold on a second. I don't want to focus in on my own voice because I'm hearing it out of this device. So the one thing that you focus in on is or the one thing that you could control is what you're going to focus in on. Now I get it. We all get distracted. We all have, or many of us have children, we have spouses, we have relationships that we have to deal with on the external from ourselves. But internally, there are things that we control. Not only do we control them, we 100% control them, right? Unless you are one of those people that believe your mind's controlled from outer space. I mean, look, who am I to argue with you? If that's who controls your mind, fantastic. My mind, I understand, is controlled by me. Hey, Brenda, how are you? Thanks for making a comment. Thanks for being here. I see Steve Fox is possibly, he's still watching. Meredith, always, I love Meredith. She's one of my most favorite watchers. Alan, what's up, my brother? How are you? And Wendy, I see you guys are on here. I'm trying to work with this device over here. It seems like for some reason, um, the content and the comments work so much better on the phone than they do on the computer. So I got the computer and the that camera running, but over here I got my phone up here so I can see what I'm doing and who's possibly talking. Sherry, what's up? Sherry. Yeah, Sherry, here's the deal. I really believe that not totally, but the last event, matter of fact, that is definitely true. The last concert I saw with you guys. You know what I'm saying? When we were at the Prince event, the Prince uh, tribute at, what was that, Vinkman's? I think that was the last time I actually sat for a concert that I paid for. Maybe in a bar somewhere, but gosh, that's just when you think about it, that was the last real outing that me and my spouse had. I mean, he and I just enjoyed that. It was a good time. So good seeing you. That was all that. Happy Thursday, Susie. Happy Thursday. So that's what this is, guys. This is the culmination of being in isolation, basically. Even though Atlanta, was one of the first ones to open up, you know, just in general, even if you're out, you're still sort of in isolation because there's just things you can't do that you used to could do, and everything is on your brain. At least for me, I know other people are just living their lives and doing what they want to do. Me, I can't. It's impossible for me to go back to doing what I used to do. It's impossible right now. It's impossible. There are no mega events. There is no international travel. So, if all your life was that small little ball of, I get to go out to, the park, or I get to hang out at the bar, or I get to go to Walmart without a mask, if that's your, desire and that's the smallness of your thinking, then I'm sure you're really happy with the way things are going right now. I'm not. I'm sorry. So I have to pivot and think on other things, right? Joseph, what's happening, buddy? Cheryl, how are you? So, anyway, this is what is going on. This is the John Lawson experience, but this is the pre launch. It's pre launch. So, it's not ready to go live. Matter of fact, I've been doing interview after interview with some amazing guests that I'm going to bring to you. And then, of course, insight. I call it the John Lawson experience. uh, I don't know. We put this together a year ago, right? With me and my friend Steve, and we were just kicking around ideas, and he's like, dude, it just needs to be you and your thing and your experience. And I was like, okay, I feel you. I've heard other experiences. Somebody else has a pretty big experience show, right? Joe Rogan, that's his experience. And I was like, well, shit. If Joe got an experience, John got an experience. Plus, we both begin with J. So there you go. There you go. I should be making millions to sell this for millions of dollars very shortly. There you go. Pre-launch. Yeah. Any rate, I do really want to bring forward the experiences that I have had over the years. I've been very, very fortunate, not just fortunate, but also intentional, in terms of what I did in the pre-COVID world and where I'm at today. So, any rate, Sheila Nixon, what's up, Sheila Nixon, from my hometown, Columbus, Ohio, the first. She was actually the first real coaching client I ever had. Sheila is amazing, amazing. She wanted me to do squats. I was like, you know what? I can help you with the business, can't help you with the squatting. Okay? She's a fitness coach, one of the best. Any rate, okay. So I asked you guys for some input because uh, any raw topic, yes, Andrew, any raw topic that I can speak to. So I'm going to go through this list that I've already had pre-done. But if you've got something you want, throw it in there and we'll look over here and we'll get to it. All right. So here's the first raw topic. The first raw topic came from Howard. Howard asked, who will win the World Series? Wrong question, wrong person. I'm just not that big on baseball. I'll watch a couple of games. If the right teams are playing in the World Series, I might sit and watch an inning. It's like not an inning. I'm just not a big baseball guy. I don't. I mean, we all grew up with it, but somewhere in there, I just sort of lost the vibe. However, having said all that, going to a live game is something I will do any day of the week if you got decent seats. I'm not sitting in the damn bleachers. No way in hell. But I will definitely sit through like 5, 7 innings. Yeah, on TV, not so much. I'm not the guy. Can't even tell you the name of the teams. All right, number 2, Joyce Slater. What is she saying? Joyce says, how has life in lockdown improved your life? What have been the positive benefits for me personally? How has the lockdown improved my life? I, honestly, there is not enough to say that it's an improvement. You know what I'm saying? Because you take lemons and make lemonade. Just because you do that does not mean you grew a better lemon, right? You just made lemonade with it. So I wouldn't call this life improving at all. Has been a challenge for everyone. Just going to see my mother and not being able to hug her or let her hug me, and having to sit with the mask on or sit outside. Those things are challenging, and I'm not ready to um, say that this period of my life right now is improved in any real area. Honestly, I mean, yes, my relationship with my husband has improved. Why? Because I'm here more. You know, but in other parts of that, it deteriorates. It's like my relationship with my husband deteriorates because we're here all the time together. You know what I'm saying? Not in a bad way, but that's kind of what, I get out of where we are at right now. There's give, there's take. I think on the left side of the taking is greater than what it's given me. It's taken away more than it's actually given. But of course, look at us right now here together. I I've been wanting to do something like this. Like I said, for a year it was an idea, and it's coming to fruition, and I'm really ready to be out there. So that's going to be a positive. So you know what I'm saying? It's you know, I'm ready to get back to, or I'm ready to get to the BC, you know, or what is that? BC AD after this bullshit. I'm ready to be there. You know, being in the middle of it, it's amazing. So it's a question. It's a great question. Thank you. Love you for it. Love you for it. I don't know what just happened. My uh, feed just went away over here, so I'm gonna pull it back up just so I don't miss your guys' comments. Let's see. Or did my there I go. Boom. Hold on a second. It says this live broadcast has expired. Really? Come on. Anyway, I see your comments down here. Don't worry about it. All right. So that's where I'm at right now, Joyce. Thanks. Juan Valdez. Juan is asking about mask or no mask. I think people, he says that he wears a mask, but he sees the negative psychology around it. And then he posted a video on that. I'll give you guys the link to that video at some point, you know, maybe in post production or something. But anyway, I watched the video one, and it had a gentleman on there that was talking about how the mask is them trying, get that word that I want to put the big them around it. All right, so it's them trying to take away human identity by everybody having a mask on their face. It removes the identity and the humanity of people. Oh my God. You know, I get it. I get it. First, quantify them, quantify how they have, you know, really put this narrative out there that this is something bad. I always fall back on the fact that, you know, the mask itself is not that big of a deal. I don't know what people think or feel like, people like myself that support masks. I support the wearing of a mask for the 39 freaking minutes that you're in the grocery damn store. Okay? Other than that, when you're not around me, you do you. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that I think this whole freedom and we somebody's trying to take this away and it's some conspiracy. I just think it's so nonsense. If I'm not part of that they, you know, I'm not part of that they. I'm a part of me. And when you cough, cover your mouth. Now that you got the damn disease, just put a mask on it. That's all I'm saying, right? And what do you mean that you got the disease? I assume that everyone that I run into has COVID. If everybody, and you assume that everybody could be a COVID potential, I just feel better when you have the mask on. And asking you to be that, I am that as well. That's how I feel about masks. It's just about being pro-life. I don't want to kill anybody if I got COVID. I just don't want to. So there you go. All right. Let's see. Oh, great. My car is ready. I just took my car in and it is ready. Oh, another thing I said about that, about the individuality of people. If you don't see the bottom of their face, who gives a shit about the bottom of their face? I see the individuality in people literally just by their voice. That's why podcasts are so popular, right? We don't get to see the people, but we hear their voice. We hear their voice. We can read a book and never meet the author, but feel close to them because of the stories that they've written. So I don't think humanity needs a face. You know, face is nice. It adds a depth to it, absolutely. But it's not the be all and end all of humanity, because if that were the case, Stevie Wonder would have no humans in his life because he has no vision. All right. So I think it goes way deeper than that. Glenda, she's asking, can mosquitoes carry the virus? I don't know. But based on research, they haven't found a transmission from that. That's how they determine things, you know, transmission. The way you determine transmission is from the science, right, of studying the tracking and the tracing. See, That's why they can't tell you 1000% this is exactly how this disease, it hasn't been around long enough, and there's not enough input. As more and more input comes around, they can make determinations and then give us best recommendations. Everything that comes out of the CDC and the WHO, those are all recommendations. Nobody actually 1000% knows exactly how this disease transmits. However, at this point in time, they don't see the concern that there would be from getting it from a mosquito. Okay, great question. Barbara, question for e-commerce sellers. How are you planning for Q4 this year? Cautiously. Plan for Q4 cautiously. Because one thing we definitely know is that Q4 is not going to be the same as it's always been. It can be way bigger. It could actually shrink. We don't know. And there's so many factors right now. So what you do is what I'm doing, I can only give you, this is John Lawson's experience. What the only thing I can do is take aggregated data over the years that we've been doing that and make projections. All right. And from that projection, I'm thinking in my head, plus or minus 20%. I usually would say plus or minus 10%. I'm just adding a little bit more of a baseline there and going up to 20%. This is always a strange year. If you've been doing this, we've been doing business for 15 years. Out of that 15-year period, you figure that we've had at least 3.5 to 4 cycles of election years, right? So I always take that data, this is election year, every 4 years, and overlay that and just separate that out and put it over top of this year to make some projections as well. And the fact is, we don't know what's going to happen after this election, let alone the economy with the virus. There's a lot of things here. So all I would say is pad your projections a little bit more up and down, because it could go either way right now. And the closer you get to this, the more you're going to know. But for us that do the Christmas in July thing, which I know you're into, we're already in Q4 right here. You know, all we're looking for now is the execution of the plan we are putting in place here in July. So hopefully that will help you. I don't know. Let me go over here to some live question. Andrew, are you at all worried about the use of federal law enforcement members against citizens who are exposing their First Amendment rights? Nah, I don't care. Kill them all. Of course I care. Absolutely. This is absolutely stupid. I can't believe it's even going on. Next question in your thing. Do you worry about I can't even say it. Authoritarian tactics being used to enforce the law? Yep. What are your thoughts on predator drones being flown over the U.S. for surveillance purposes? Okay, so let's unpack the back end. The front end, I think if you're not worried about what we just heard happening in Portland, Oregon, understand what's happening is just a test. This is only a test. If you don't think that they are testing this for something bigger, you're absolutely missing the point. And that's where I get a concern with. All right? Because just because you don't like somebody saying these things or some dissension against our current way of doing things, this is what America was built on. So if the government is coming to silence the voice of Americans, I'm very concerned about that. All right? I'm concerned. Am I worried about it? No, I'm not worried about it, because I have lived in what you're Canadian, so I'm not talking to you. But I want people to understand John Lawson's experience. John Lawson's experience has been always living under this kind of oppression, okay? Because my people have been silenced since they've been here. Our message has been twisted and turned against us. So when you see what's going on in Portland, you understand the ties to the fact that it is a test because it is shadowed and covered under Black Lives Matter. Anyone else's life, they probably wouldn't do that, but they understand that doing this under the guise of Black Lives Matter gives them the ability to make these moves. And unfortunately, if you don't see the slippery slope that we are into, and I'm not one for the slippery slope argument all the time. I think people pull that out. But this is not a slippery slope. This is straight out war against the American populace to silence the freedom of speech. You have got to be concerned. And if you're not, you are asleep. And enjoy your nap. Because one day they're going to be knocking on your door too. That's my opinion. All right. Now let's talk about surveillance, right? We're being surveilled, whether it flies over us. Surveillance today is in our homes. In our homes. Right now, you are surveillancing me, but since you're surveillancing me and everything I'm saying, somebody else is too. All they got to do is tune into your channel and watch. Yeah? All they got to do is tune into your social media and watch. They can surveil you because we've given surveillance to everybody. We surveil for them. They don't have to fly shit over your house because you will turn on your camera and point it at your own damn self and speak your mind. So surveillance does not concern me as much. I know that it's on every stoplight and they call it a speed camera, right? We already know the surveillance is out there. I'm not concerned. It's not the surveillance that concerns me. It's what you do with it that concerns me, and that's where we need to be focused. I hope that answers that question. Where am I at? All right, so I just did Barbara. Dave, take the side of glass empty, half empty. All right, I'll take that side, David. All right. Did a Toastmasters talk a while back on the perspectives of being a negative person. It's interesting when you research it, actually. Being a negative person. I need to check that out. I would love to, give us a link for that, Dave. That's from Dave Matthews. Dave, I love that. I want to know. I think, I don't know. I'm kind of positive, but I definitely have the ability to see pitfalls. I don't think I'm a negative person. I don't think you're saying that, but I think that's a very interesting thing. Debbie, my heart. Debbie, what's going on, Debbie? Which way is the toilet paper supposed to go on the roller? Wow, I love it when people ask a question and other people answer it. So my boy Brandon Ely, he actually put the patent out there. And so now we know that the patent actually shows the toilet paper coming over the top. And absolutely, that is the right way, if you didn't know. The reason why that's the right way is because when it's over the top, I can't believe I'm telling people this, and I don't know if he even mentioned it, but when it's over the top, then you have the entire weight of the toilet paper that's still on the roll pulling against the force of the toilet paper that's going down. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying? That force, it's forcing it to go the opposite way. When you have it on the underside, then it's much easier for it to go down based on the gravity itself. So the more you have on the ground, the more likely it is to fall down as the roll itself gets smaller. Anyway, it's a mathematical thing. I can't even tell you what it's called. I just happen to know that because I passed the test. I passed the test. I know what an elephant is. I know. I've passed that. And you know what? Actually, when I took the test, the doctors, everybody in the room were amazed by my results. And one of the questions was about toilet paper rolls. There you go. Anyway, all right. So we got Deborah Porter. I remember seeing this one earlier. All right. And I'm going to get to you guys. I'm sorry if I'm ignoring you in the chat. I'm not. It's getting there. I'm going through a couple of these and I'm going to come back to you guys that are here with me live. I appreciate you that are live. I don't know why this thing says it has expired as a link. That is so ridiculously dumb. But this is cool. This is why it's beta testing and I want to know. You know, it's like it's so. Okay, there we go. I see the live. Let's pull the live up. All right, good. I can see you guys again. Toilet paper debate moves you. All right, Joanne. Way to go. I hope it doesn't move you to. Anyway, I'm not even going to talk. You know. Anyway, no bowels talk. All right, Deborah Porter. What do you see as our next step in developing a plan of action? Oh, this is deep. This is deep. All right, what do you see as our next step in developing a plan of action built on the current momentum to combat racism so that the recent protest and Black Lives Matter movement doesn't quietly fade away? What do I think? Remember, that's what she's asking. She's asking, what does John Lawson think? Because this is John Lawson experience. Let me give you a little bit of background. Wee bit of background. I've been on this planet for five so I'm going to say what? I've got a niece and I don't have any grands, but a lot of my friends have grands, right? So if you got grands, you got children, you know, I'm going to state that I've been on this planet now into the third generation. All right? Into a third generation. I remember the first time I went, and this is take it or leave it alone, okay? I went through my own generation, right? Then I watched my child grow up. She's 21, right? So that's another generation. And now I'm watching my niece and the people behind her grow up. So that's three generations, right? My niece now is, you know, in her teens. So my daughter in the 20s, niece, teens, I've watched, and then me in my 50s, you know? I know. Just take that in for just a second. John is in his 50s. I know. My mid 50s. Let me just show you. I look fucking good. Oh, did I say the F word? I'm not supposed to say that. I'm sorry. We got to bleep that out. I look freaking good. I know. You know how I do it? You want to know how I do it? Genetics. It has nothing to do with me. I ain't do this. It's just genetics. My parents look good for their age. So the deal is, when you see these generations go by, one thing I've noticed is that every generation has its moment. And we're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, okay? Black Lives Matter, when I was a child, was called it would be the period where we were, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, afros. That was that movement. You know what I'm saying? I think the next movement, that was my parents' movement. I got to watch that movement. I think our next movement would have been, and this is just me putting it in my life, the next movement was hip hop, okay? And the formation of hip hop and the things that came out of that, the education that came out, the culture that came out, all pretty much, I don't want to say climaxing, but elevating us all the way up into the Million Man March. I think that's my generation. You know what I'm saying? That was my experience. I was at the Million Man March. I helped organize the Million Man March. I was very, very into the entire movement there. That was my generation, my movement. You know what I'm saying? This is the weird thing. I felt that my daughter's generation, which would be like, say, millennials, they were raised in a generation where, if you called this their movement, which it sort of is, but it bridges the gap on a new movement. I actually think that a lot of that movement and that generation have a weird hybrid of thinking or feeling like there was no need for a movement because we had the Cosby Show to grow up on, right? Not Bill Cosby. Who gives a shit about that? I'm talking about the Cosby Show and what that represented. It represented something for us, talking about me being the parent wanting to emulate this thing that we saw on television, right? So we were like, yo, we could have doctors and lawyers being parents. We can be a part of a family structure that was not based on just the struggle of the good times that we're talking about the TV show, the good times. We're not waiting for George Jefferson to move on up. We've moved on up past what we did at the Million Man March, and we're going to raise our children differently. And we're not necessarily going to be as focused in on that struggle because we got Barack Obama in office. That was a real culmination of great, great work of all the people and all the movements and everyone that fought, bled, and died for some sense of equality. Not only did we feel it, white people felt it. The entire world felt it. They looked at that day in 2008 and said, damn, there's hope in this world. That's what they felt. That's what we felt. That's what we gave to our children. And you really figure out and really realize it's like, wow, 8 years later, hope is dead. Now we're looking for hope. Now we're searching for a better vibe, a better feeling. Whether you're with this administration or not, I'm not talking about administrations. I was talking about emotions. Right? And I'm saying today's emotion is the exact opposite of yesterday's emotions. But the problem remains the same. How do we get and advance our understanding of race and move that forward to understand that we are all in this together? The problem is really, and I don't want to get deep. I want to make this as minuscule as I possibly can. The problem is really not race. The problem is the people, figure out who they are. The people utilize our misunderstanding of our worldwide humanity to pit one against the other. If we remove racism today, we'll still have classism. If we remove racism and classism, we still have sexism. Something, somewhere, and someone is inspiring us to be separate. And so the one thing you have to recognize is the person you're talking to or dealing with, is there a spirit in them of unity, or is there a spirit in them of separation? That's how you understand gods and devils. I'm done, because that's some deep shit. I'm just going to let that one resonate with you. How do we move forward? The first thing we have to do is start recognizing evil and good. That's what we have to start doing. And there's just some evil that just has to die. Just has to die. There are some people that are no way going to change the way they were raised, and some of them just going to have to die off. I'm not talking about killing anybody, just some of our racism has to die off, and we have to stop letting it being pushed onto the children below us. That's where we have to deal with that. Black people, you want to be more free. It's definitely about economics. It's about controlling the message. If we can do those things, control our messaging, support ourselves economically, everyone else will take notice. Period. That's I can't even go any. I don't know. So that's my answer. I don't know. I don't fucking know. If I knew, it'd be finished already. We would be there. We would be there. We'd be singing that song. Hand in hand, little black boys and little white girls and all that shit. It just is. It's way beyond my pay grade. Way beyond it. All right, one more, and then I'm out of here. Peggy, Amazon order screw ups never used to happen. Yeah, here's the thing, Peggy. Amazon, and from a buyer perspective, Amazon is having issues because Amazon requires humans to deliver and fulfill those orders. Some of the problems that Amazon is running into are the problems that we all are running into. It's hard to get people um, uh, in working environments that are separated and not getting sick, right? So they're having problems with staffing. They're having problems with just bringing it in the inventory that's coming in and fulfilling the needs of people. Literally, prior to um, COVID, 3 out of 100 people would order groceries online. 3 out of 100 people would order groceries online. All right. So there was a 3% of people would order groceries online. Right now, and at the height, let's put it, this was at the height. At the height of this, 21 people out of 100 were ordering groceries online. So that's 21%. Think about that. Just think about your business overnight going from 3% to 21%. What's that? A 700% increase in in weeks, in just no time at all. And Amazon has had some issues with really just catching up. They're catching up, trust and believe, just from a guy that works on Amazon and on the back end, the notifications we're getting, they are definitely, they hear you. They want to get this done. They want to get it done right. And they are absolutely working on it. Okay. Brenda saying, I live in Philly. Trump wants to send federal troops here to cause chaos amongst our peaceful protesters simply because our mayor is a Democrat. I'm a bit worried. Absolutely. This is ridiculous. It's not, we talked about that. Yeah, I can't believe I brought Stevie Wonder into that, Nathan. I know, I know. As a black person, we always lived under surveillance and being patrolled by the police. Absolutely. And that's the thing, it is what it is, man. This is the John Lawson experience. All right. You can't argue with my experience of being a black man for 55 years in this country. You can't. You can try. You can try, but you can't argue with my experience. No, guess why? Because it's my experience. You got your own, bitch. Use yours. So we can compare our experiences, but you can't overlay yours to mine. And I'm not trying to overlay mine on yours. So when I talk like that, I'm just talking from my experience. That's it. This is my experience. You have your own. You will formulate your own. In business, that's one of the greatest things I ever learned. I ever learned to stop comparing everything I do with other people. It's the worst thing you do. That's probably the biggest poison in social media. I love social media, trust me. We wouldn't be here. But part of the biggest poison for us in social media is the fact that we are constantly comparing our lives and what we do to other people. It's really the worst brain F that you can do. The worst. Stop doing that to yourself. Enjoy people's stories and experiences for them and recognize that you're going to create your own. My story is as unique as this fingerprint. Matter of fact, this fingerprint ain't even the same as that fingerprint. That's how unique I am. That's how unique you are. That's how unique your experience is going to be. Learn from everybody else's experience, but it's going to be really hard for you to overlay somebody else's experience onto yours. That's part of the problem that we have with this turnkey, I'm in business society that we have. These turnkey businesses that we see advertised on Facebook. It's just so easy. It's easy to do. If I can do it, you can too. I understand your pain because I was there with you. These sound familiar? These words sound familiar? I'm sure they do. That's how people sell you things. That's how they sell you things, right? Because they make you compare you with them. And they do that in story. And they make that relative to your life. And then suddenly you end up purchasing that product and you try to do it and it just doesn't work for you. Why? Not for everybody. Some of it works for, some of it doesn't. But why is that? That's because each of us have to have our own experience. We have to. The way things go through my brain and gets recycled is completely different from the way they do in yours. We can both look at the same color and see something very different. I could see maroon, you see red. Remember the dress? What do you see in the dress? Who sees blue? Who sees yellow? Same thing. Same thing. We all have our own unique experience. Stop comparing yourself to others. It's impeding your growth. Stop it. Stop it today. If you need to put the phone down, put the phone down. If you need to stop following people, that's what, you know what? Dude, thank you. Thank you very much, because that is the answer to the question from Joyce. Joyce, my life is better thanks to COVID because I stopped following people that I didn't need to have in my timeline. And I used to keep them there all the time. I stopped following them and my life got better. Not, trust me, I didn't just mute them. I stopped following them. The freedom I got from, like, you know what? F you, I don't need to be friends with you. I did that. I don't need, we're not friends. You can follow me all you want, but you and I are not friends. And that's been a very valuable lesson that I got, how to stop letting people show up in my timeline that mean nothing to me and serve no good purpose in my life for my experience. For my experience. That's not everybody that disagrees with me. I think disagreement works. It works well. If you don't learn how to deal with people that disagree with you, never fucking get married. Oops, I said the F word again. Stop it. Never get married. Never. Because if you think your spouse is going to always agree with you, you're in for a rude awakening. And that is the value of partnering up with somebody. It's the other side. It's the other side. I love you too, Vicky. What's up? Hey, Prince, how's it going? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Lisa. He won't lose. All right. I'm pretty much, he won't leave the cage match. Yeah, not propagating is the most important thing when it comes to racism. We need that gone. Chris Hawkins, what's up, buddy? How are you, my man? Good. Zakia, how are you? I love you. I've never met you. I think we spoke maybe on email once and twice, but just, man, your spirit, love your spirit. Anytime I drop in on your timeline, I'm just so full because of the things you say and do and just your spirit in general. Who else? Any rate, man, hip hop. Yeah, the bridge is over. KRS-One. Don't get me started about KRS-One. He is the man. If you don't know KRS-One, people, go to YouTube, put in "You Must Learn KRS-One." Just put that in there. Watch that video. You will understand everything about John Lawson. That song itself changed my entire life. I don't remember when it came out, but man, You Must Learn, that one rap song changed me forever. And he called himself the edutainer. He called himself the edutainer. And I totally bring you edutainment. When I speak on stage, I've always, in the back of my head, said you gotta have edutainment. It's gotta be entertaining, educational. So I got that from KRS-One, the original edutainer. He was the best. The best. You must learn. Check that one out. After you hear that, just go back to all his other ones. Matter of fact, go and listen to another one. Another one should be The Sound of the Police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. Oh my God. Man, come on. This is the 80s. You know, this is rap from the 80s, giving you the life you're living today. It hasn't changed. I was in the pool yesterday. You know, I take out I got a speaker. You know, speaker you can talk to. What do you call it? A Google speaker, right? That you can talk to. You plug it in, and I take it, and it's waterproof, right? And I take it, put it by the pool, right? Guess what comes on? And then I'm gonna be out of here. Actually, I'm going to tell you before you must learn the actual song that changed everybody, changed all of hip hop. The Message by Grandmaster Flash. I'm gonna really freak your mind out right now. This shit is gonna blow your mind, right? The first Message hip hop song was called The Message. All right, that's the first time it went from party, hey, whoa, raise your hands, ho, right? It went from that to having a message in a song. It's called The Message by Grandmaster Flash. It's Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, but you'll find it. The Message, Grandmaster Flash. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. I'm listening to that. I'm singing along. I got all the words. You remember the words. We all remember the words. One of the greatest rap songs ever made. Then it gets to the end, and I'll be goddamn. The end of the first ever written hip-hop message song has the cops mistreating somebody at the end of the damn song. Early 80s has the cops mistreating. It's like, get in the car, get in the car. The man's on the, what have I done? What have I done? The first hip hop song called The Message. And here we are. Black lives still matter. Isn't that crazy? That many years later, still the same damn thing. The same damn. I just gave you 2 songs you need to listen to. This is not new. I saw a stupid Republican commercial today. Stupid Republican commercial. He's running for office here. His name is Perdue, here in Georgia. And in that commercial, he's talking about police. And he says, we don't need to defund the police. We think that there are better ways to deal with the police. And then he goes on to say, we should use body cameras. More body cameras are a way for us to deal with police brutality. And I'm sitting there and I want to throw a brick at the TV because of the reason why is because when we said that shit the last time you kicked a black man's ass, you blocked it. The reason why we don't have police cameras is not because that was a new idea, David Perdue, with your bullshit ass. It's because people just like you said that wasn't a good idea. Oh, so now it's a good idea. See, this is how we play the game. This is how the game gets played. No, that's not your idea. No, I'm not voting for you because of this idea. That idea is old and you were against it. That's why police cameras are not on all police anyway. You ain't got no new ideas. It's not a new idea. Stop it. All right. Yay. I think that's enough. I'm done for experience today. Thanks for experiencing with me. Like I said, this is the pre-episode. The episodes that are coming are absolutely mind-blowing. Going to be good stuff. When is it launching? I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I'm still in production phase, but at least you've seen the logo and stuff, hey? All right? You got the vibe. You learned who the host is. 9/11 is a joke. Thank you, Ramon. We might have to do that one of these shows. I might just have to go through some hip-hop lessons. Hip-hop lessons for white people. Hip-hop lessons for old people. Hip-hop lessons for everybody that's not a black male. Hip-hop lessons for black males from black women. You know, I mean, there's all kind of lessons in hip-hop. Poetry. Love it. Love you. See you later, guys. I'm out of here for now. Wow, that was deep. All right, peace.